What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. From the last video, we got the trunk completely body worked, all done. But the plan today is basically to get the whole car done, like bodywork wise, fully done. Some people are kind of confused. I've had a few people asking. This primer was not like prime the car and then paint the car. This was basically to do the bodywork on top of. So none of the bodywork has been done, other than like metal work, right? So the welding and like popping out dents and stuff like that. So now what we're doing is doing the bodywork on top of that epoxy primer, and then we'll be able to like final prime it and then paint it. So hopefully I'm gonna try to have it final primed in this video, but I don't know how it's gonna work. We'll see how we make out, but basically I'm just gonna be going around and fixing all the bodywork on the body of the car, other than like the bumpers and side skirts and stuff, because it's separate. But yeah, so we'll see how far we get, and I don't know, hopefully you enjoy. Like I said, I already did quarter panel, so I guess I'll start with that and then we'll go from there. So I just went and basically did the same thing I did to the trunk. Blocked this quarter panel out with 120, and you can see where I did this patch. It's a couple little low spots here and where I welded up the antenna hole. It's kind of hard to see, but the rest of it is pretty good actually. There's not even like, there might be one little ding right there. And then basically what I'm gonna have to do is do a little skim coat around this wheel lip, just because when I rolled it, it's not perfectly smooth. So, and now that this is like folded out, this line kind of almost disappeared. So I'm gonna kind of just put a skim on there and then basically sharpen that line kind of thing. So I'm gonna scuff all this up, fill that, and then put a little coat basically around this whole wheel lip. So you see I got a coat on there now. And what I'm gonna do, basically I'll block this small area of the wheel lip pretty much. And then once I get that flat and straight, basically where it has to be, then I'll take a measurement from here to here, and then like here to here on the bumper where it's supposed to be. And then I'll mark it all out. And then I'll basically put a piece of tape on there, and then I'll start sanding this way, like this flat spot to that line pretty much, and it'll basically just sharpen that body line again, and it should be fine. I might have to put another slick with like the white stuff, just the really thin, fine coat, because I know before I sanded it, you could kind of see a little bit of a wave up top here. And that's basically because I forced this out like so far when I rolled the quarter panels to fit the Serbs. I think they're 17 by 10 plus something low, so like they're pretty pokey. So, but they fit in there. So, yeah. Pretty clearly see like the filler here, it's feathered out really nice, so you can't even like feel that. But here where it's more of like a sharp line, that's because this is too high, so I have to fill that in a little bit more. Basically just go over that and then block it all back down. You want it like this, where it's nice and faded off. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna skim this little area here, and then we'll be done with this quarter panel. And there we go. So now you can see like this is faded out nice and smooth, like feathered out, I guess you'd call it. But yeah, so that's really good now. Feels really nice, honestly. Well, basically what I've done is sanded just by hand with 120 the whole thing. I'm gonna do the whole car, like do all the body work on the car, do everything, and then I'll probably DA the whole car after with like 180, just so it's not as aggressive, like with these straight scratch marks. And then, cause you don't really wanna bury that in the primer because it'll eventually soak back through and you'll see it. Pretty good though. I can go onto this door now, I think. Okay, so I actually just found the first low spot on the door. You can see this is what you want to see, where it's all this like nice sanded, I don't know, like light gray compared to the dark gray. Good. You can see here just this small little area right there, kind of between the door handle and this door edge. It's a little bit low. You probably won't notice that just because it's a small area and the door handle's here and it's a gap here. But I'll probably just give that a little slick just so it's nice and straight. But that's what you want to look out for. That's the whole point of blocking it. You could also just like DA the whole thing and then fix what you know is there, but this way it's kind of straightening it as we go. I mean, there's not a whole lot of primer on there. It's only 2 coats of epoxy, so it's not doing a whole lot of straightening, but anything it helps. So keep going now. I'm gonna block all this, and then we know down here we're gonna need to do some body work, and then down here for sure we're gonna need to do some body work. Okay, so this door is now all blocked out, and we knew about that, so that's not a huge deal. I'm gonna probably hammer and delay it a little bit more, but I don't want to mess with it too much because these cars don't have much metal to them. So if I start stretching it, I don't want to make it like tin can. I don't want to do that. But there's a few other, like there's a little ding here, and it might actually be from this too, because you can kind of see here like the outline. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. It's like a crease almost across the door. So I'm doing some work there, low spot there, little door ding here. Obviously this can be the most work, but I knew that already. So yeah, so I decided that this is gonna be much easier to fix if I actually take the door off, and I'm just gonna put it on my horses here, and it'll just be flat. I'll be able to just stand there and block it. I don't feel like bending over, leaning over the whole time. So I'm gonna try and get that door off, and then up here, and then we'll start doing some body work. My plan is to rest it on that seat. It actually feels pretty heavy, so this is a little concerning. Where the hell's the plug? I'm gonna end up dropping this door. That's what I'm gonna do. There's a plug. Still a massive wire. Well, this is gonna suck now. I wish I could find this down somehow. I would not recommend this. Here's another plug. There's 3 plugs in here. And I can't even see the 3rd one at all. Never taken a door off like this, so this is interesting. I guess I should have just took the wiring completely out of the door and figured this out later. But it's kind of too late for that. Oh, there it is. Well, I guess it's off. That was an absolute disaster, but this is the one plug. Look at how big that is and the size of that hole. And there's 2 other plugs that also had to come out of there. And now they're like down inside there. Well, you can't see. Now they're down inside there. So I'll shove that back in there. I have no idea how I'm gonna get this back on, but this all has to be painted anyway, so the doors had to come off. At some point, anyway, I might put them back on when I prime the car, just so it's all together. I don't have a ton of room in here, as you can see. Yeah, that was a pain. Holy man. I've never had that much of a issue. Anyways. Okay, so this blocked out pretty good, not too bad, but we have a couple high spots here, as you can see, and down here. Basically what I'm gonna do is just take my body hammer and just kind of tap them in. Not really like dent them in, but just kind of like move them further down. Then I'll go back, block it again, basically until they're no longer a high spot so much, and then I'll skim this whole area again, probably with the fine putty though, because it's not too bad. So now I'll go back over that with the block, kind of knock it down to there now, because now around it is basically higher than what that is now. So now I'm gonna knock that down to that level again. So these get a little bit bigger probably, but that's fine. And then I'll skim it again. Okay, so that's all blocked out now. I didn't really film it, but it's basically the same process as all the other filler. Now what I'm gonna do is work on this like body line down here, because this is good now. This is all final. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a piece of tape from here to here and basically pull it tight, and that's gonna tell me where the line needs to be here. And then I'll just sand along that tape line, and it should be nice and straight. Here. Now I should be able to block this basically up to that, and that'll give us a straight line. So it's kind of hard to see, but the line is nice. But I'm still having a problem with, like, it's kind of hard to, when I'm using a block that's not like the same size as the area, so it's not really keeping the whole thing flat. So what I did is I went to work and I picked up this, so it's much longer, right? So instead of flattening out that much area, now I can flatten out this much and moving, and it's an acrylic block, so these stay like perfectly flat instead of the foam like bending and whatever. So I'm just gonna go over it quick with this now, and I don't know, make sure that it's all good and straight, and then it should be pretty close. So door is back on. It looks really good. I don't know, can't really tell until we actually prime it. Should be okay. It feels really good. So now that's done, I'm gonna go to this fender, and I almost have the other door done. I just basically coated the little dings that there was, and there's a little bit of a, I don't know, something going on the back of the door. So I just figured I'd fill that and I'll block it. And then that's it. I'm gonna move on to the front end of the car basically. This fender's done. There was just a little ding, couple little dings here and there. And basically all I wanted to do was just smooth out basically where I like hammered and dollied and rolled these lips. I showed in the other video, or one of the other videos, smoothing this out pretty much. And basically all I had to do then was just kind of give it a little skim coat. You can see like the metal poking through everywhere. So just to smooth it out. Now, the difficult part is gonna be making sure that this fender kind of has the same flare shape as like this fender. And that's what I've been working on now. So I think it's pretty close, but it's kind of hard to see until I get it like in bodywork, and then it's still kind of hard to tell. This fender's done. I'm just doing this one now. Okay, so fender is now completely blocked, and no real surprises. A couple little low spots here, you can see it, little shiny spots, and then just right here where the harness was actually hitting, I just kind of tapped it in, so we got a little bit of a dent there. So we'll just fill that, give this the final skim, be on the way. so this fender is now done. All I have left, I'm just talking about like the body, not the bumper, the side skirt, stuff like that. Do the hood, and basically all there is, I think, is where I welded this and where there's a little bit of body work here before. So now the hood is blocked out. You can see that was a spot where there was actually the emblem, and I welded the hole up, so it's a little low there. And then there's also a ding here, which I didn't really know about. But then this was where there was a little bit of filler before when I stripped the car and I took it all out. So I just gotta do that, those two little spots, that'll be done. And then all I have left is the roof. Other than that, the car's pretty much done as far as like body work goes. Now, what I'm gonna have to do is go over the whole car with the DA, like the sander again, but with like 180 or maybe like 220 or something like that, just to kind of get rid of like these harsh, like straight like blocking lines, because you don't want to just fill that in. So you got to kind of DA it out, and it just makes it nice and smooth. So yeah, I'm just gonna rough up these spots a little bit. I wish I could do like the YouTube like snap fingers thing, but I can't snap. So, oh, maybe I can. And there we go. I guess that's how it's done. I don't know. All I have left is the roof. So it'd be kind of stupid to stand on like a step stool or something, just do the roof. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the car on the ground, but first I'm gonna sweep and add to my pile of dust. And yeah, just gonna clean up in here and then put it on the ground. I think that's actually probably gonna do it for this video. I was really hoping to get it primed. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you're painting a car, you want either like the primer or like a ground coat or something that is close to like the same shade, I guess. So if you're painting it black, you would want like a black ground coat or like a black primer or something. You're painting something white, you would want like a really light gray or like a white primer or ground coat or whatever. So the color that I'm going is darker. So I want a black primer so I can kind of skip the step of putting like a black ground coat or like a black base coat first. So if I could find a black primer, that would be cool. That way I could just prime the car and it would already be black, and then I could just put the color on and then clear it and be done, instead of having to do that extra step of the black ground coat. So that's kind of where I'm at. I still have to DA the whole car and just go around the edges and stuff like that. So not a huge deal, but yeah, the main thing is I want to try and find a black primer. If I can't, it's not the end of the world. I can just get like a quart of black base or whatever, and then when I'm painting the car, I can just do one coat of black, make the car black. But anyways, yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. And like I said, next one should be pretty cool. Lots of progress. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, that'd be cool. I don't know if you have any questions, give me some comments and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, really appreciate you guys watching, and see you in the next one.